I'm going to start with a trivia question. There's at least one thing, and probably at most one thing, that you and I have in common.
Right.
Do you have any idea what it is?
Good hair?
Well, that.
Yeah.
We're both from New Brunswick.
Oh.
Yeah. So I grew up in Sackville. You probably drove by many
I've
times.
been to Sackville many times.
Yeah,
Sappy Fest.
Yeah.
Shout out to
exactly.
Sappy Fest.
Absolutely. And so, and you are a proud son of the Maritimes,
Yeah,
but certainly
absolutely.
of New Brunswick. So let me ask you a New Brunswick food question.
Okay.
You know, I think about, like, you know, Quebec and poutine, right?
Yeah.
And Halifax and Donaires.
Yeah.
Does New Brunswick have like a comfort food / snack food that would be the signature dish?
I don't know. I honestly, for me, I'd say Roppy pie.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say that.
Like Roppy pie is like, when I think of my grandparents
Yep.
living in Fredericton, I think that's definitely something.
So kind of an Acadian influence,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
We're about to make something beautiful, something that means a lot to me. This is a very traditional Acadian dish called Roppy pie.
Well, this is super New Brunswick, eh?
Yeah.
This is like New Brunswick.
I interviewed Michael Bublé last year, and he talked a lot about his grandfather.
Right.
You talk a lot about one of
Yeah.
your grandfathers as well,
Yeah.
who had the restaurant
Right.
in Prince Edward Island. There were the stools,
Yeah.
you know, that these are kind of
This whole
reminiscent
bar
of.
is like kind of the canopy and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so tell me about, you call him Grampy. Tell me about
Yeah,
him.
Grampy. At the time, it was like my grandfather had a restaurant, and it was a one-bedroom apartment attached to it.
Oh.
And that's where he lived. He lived at the Blue Goose. That's why we stayed there. That's why we slept in the banquettes at night, you know. And we had to get up at like 6 a.m. because they opened, because they're on the Trans-Canada Highway. So like we'd have to, you know, go back. My parents would sleep on the pull-out couch, which was also the office for the restaurant. Like going to their house was magical, and they had this like big like yard in the back. They had like a blackberry bush. And like you'd go pick blackberries, and then like you'd go in the house, and it always smelled like roast. Like it was always like she's roasting a turkey or making pot roast, or like there was always these big meals. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I loved going to my grandparents. Like they loved it. They had like nice carpet, blue carpet. They had blue carpet in their house.
There's so much that I could ask you about. Let me ask you about the videos that you do now. Like you look at the number of views, multiple million views for a
Yeah.
lot of them, and a style. I don't know, where did that video style come from?
I think I've been making the same video for 10 years. So it's just like, I think it's just a format of like, I'm just making stand-in stirs, you know? Like I'm like, I love like, you know, Walk with Yan and like these, like those are like perfect shows. Like
Yeah.
Walk with Yan is an incredible thing.
Yeah.
They stand there and they cook stand-in stirs, you know?
How scripted are they?
0. Hello, everybody. What's up? I'm Matty Matheson.
A little dab, a little kiss, a little one for me. Then we're gonna add some butter, unsalted butter.
I don't know if you guys noticed, I'm not wearing a shirt because I literally can't find the shirt. It's like, what's the point of having one of these things? I love gumbo, you love gumbo, we love gumbo. Have you ever made a whole pot of gumbo and ate the whole thing in one sitting, by yourself, alone, sad, looking into the bowl of gumbo? By the time you get down to the bottom, it's cold, just like life.
I feel like that's the right amount.
These are Bazooka Town.
So that's the appetizer
Okay.
for our interview. Now we're ready
Okay.
for the main course here. And let me ask you about your persona. Like here you're kind of calm. We're sitting talking,
Yeah.
you know, across the bar. But on video, you
Yeah.
are larger than life. And at one
Right.
time, we're kind of this famous
Yeah.
party animal
Right.
in Toronto. Tell me about that, Matty Matheson.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I was just a young kid, you know? I liked partying. I liked having fun. I worked in, you know, restaurants, and people are there to drink and have fun. And I thought it was my job to make everyone have fun, you know? And sometimes the fun kind of dries up. And, you know, yeah, I honestly, like, it is one of those things where, you know, you become this like caricature of this thing. You build up this persona and you entertain, and I've been doing that, over 10 years now. And yeah, in my 40s, I'm definitely way more this than, when I go in front of the camera and I make my cooking videos, I can turn it on and have fun and yell and make fun of stuff. But, most of the time I'm just truly somber.
Okay, let's go back to those days, though, where you embraced it in real life, but also on video, right? The hangover cure shows.
Yeah.
So crazy.
So last night we got like wasted.
34 shots of tequila, crumbled whiskey, Guinnesses, melted into the ground.
Pictures of beer. There's a lot of drinks. Hangover cures was like, I would take a chef, get them as drunk as possible. Then the next day they would have to make me a hangover cure.
Yeah, what a great concept.
Great concept. We made 3 videos that lasted that. It was that sustainable,
Were you having fun at that stage in your life?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I was young, had a restaurant, the whole world was mine, but, it really wasn't. And it was just, I don't know. I definitely was having fun, though. I definitely was a joy boy. Yeah.
And literally, and as I say these words, they sound overly dramatic, but I think they're true. All of that almost killed you.
Yeah. At 29, definitely had a heart attack, and then, figured things out and kind of got my life back in order a little bit, and then started living a different way,
And there was an intervention. It almost sounds like a scene from a movie as I read about it, but there was actually your friends gathered and said, this has got to stop.
Yeah, lucky to have some beautiful friends in my life that cared enough to kind of take some time, and we talked for a long time and decided to go to some meetings, and then the meetings was, they worked,
You have some tattoos.
Yeah, I got a couple,
DSOL.
DSOL, dead set on living. Yeah, I got that after my heart attack. Yeah, my friend wrote it in like a letter and was just like, so there's a Husker Du song called Dead Set on Destruction, DSOD. And I wanted to open a bar. I wanted to open up like the best dive bar of all time. And we were gonna call it Dead Set on Destruction. And and then when I was in the hospital, one of my best friends came and wrote a card. It was just like, I guess you're not gonna open Dead Set on Destruction. You start be whatever, something like Dead Set on Living, And then I had a show called Dead Set on Life. And so then there's like an intersection of that. And it was just like a fun thing, get tattooed on you.
Let's talk about the next stage in your life.
Yeah.
The building of an empire.
Okay.
Or however you want to say it, the building of a business.
I don't know.
You know what?
People say empire a lot.
Okay.
Having a couple restaurants isn't an empire. Having a couple businesses, but everyone says empire.
Okay.
And I'm starting to genuinely
Resent it?
I just don't agree.
Okay.
I think having some businesses is having some businesses. I think doing some things is doing some things.
Okay. So let's talk about the stage in your life where you were doing some things.
Yeah.
This restaurant is part of the stuff you do.
Yeah.
What else are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know. What we got restaurants. There's a lot of restaurants right now, which is amazing. There's like Six Makers and Matty's Patties and Cafe Rang, Rizzo's House of Parm, Prime Seafood Palace, and Maker. And we're about to open up another restaurant on Dundas. And then there's like book stuff, video stuff, TV stuff, clothing stuff, merch stuff. There's a lot of different things. And then myself as a thing that, we can make into things.
Yeah. nice smells in here. It was smelling like steak when we came in, and then like baked goods, and I'm not exactly sure what it is now, but yeah, lots of good smells.
Yeah, they're cooking back there.
Yeah. Restaurants. Tell us
Right.
about this restaurant.
This restaurant is my dream. You know, like I sat on this idea and this name. It's over 8 years now. We've been open just over 2. The more I travel and the more I go and eat at places, I always go to steakhouses. I love steakhouses. And I wanted to make my version of a steakhouse. Steakhouses are always kind of shallow and dark and mahogany and aubergine, or like, you know, dark colors. And I really wanted to make something like light and bright, and make a steakhouse that had good steak, but also had really, really good vegetables. Because I do believe that the funnest thing about going to a steakhouse is getting the sides. But the sides are always the same. It's asparagus, a baked potato, onion rings. Amazing, I love them.
Yeah.
But I wanted something where, like, eating a large steak gets very mundane very quickly. You know, it's like, okay, how much steak can you really eat? I'm not about that. I want a couple little bit of bites of really good steak, and then I want like a lot of beautiful vegetables and beautiful seafood. And so like that was my plan, was like to open a place that was kind of like the complete opposite, where it's like we don't have a ton of steak. We got like 4 or 5 steaks that are really good, that are very thoughtful. But we have a large amount of vegetables and seafood dishes. So I think it was like kind of the opposite of most steakhouses, where it's like it's bright, it's airy, it's like it's demasculated. You know, like steakhouses are very masculine.
Yeah.
And I think that this is a sensitive touch. This is something that like, and I also think that like this is like what I believe is a beautiful restaurant. And I wanted to show that side of me. I wanted to show something that was like truly beautiful. You know, if people just know me from yelling about lasagna and all these things, it's just like, let me show you what we can do. Let me show you let me show you something that I really, really care about.
So the guy that, you know, envisions a restaurant like this, the
Yeah.
guy who loves food, the guy who does these videos that are off the cuff and just unlike anything else that I've seen anyway, is also the guy who's involved in one of the most acclaimed TV shows, if we still call them TV shows, right now, The Bear. How did that happen?
Chris Storer, he's my friend. He's the creator, director, one of the writers, and we always talked about maybe doing something together. And then like he hit me up one day and was just like, hey, you know, I think we got something here, and we want you to consult, and do you want to act in it? And I was like, and he was like, can you act? I'm like, I don't know. I was just like, we'll see, I'm down.
Bring it up? What's the point? Yo, should I break this up? Yes! No! Yes! No way! Never! Oh, that's cool.
So let me ask you 2 things about that
Yeah.
role. First of all, notably, you don't play a chef
No.
in the show, you play a handyman.
Yes.
That's part of the...
That's acting. You know, that's acting. If I was a chef, you know, it'd be something else. And I didn't want to, you know, like I just want to be, you know, I'm not good at fixing stuff, you know. Being a handyman is you know, I feel like FAC isn't a good handyman to begin with actually anyway, so it kind of worked out perfect.
How I've never acted before. How
Yeah.
tough is it to act? And you're surrounded by professional actors.
It's very stressful, you know, it's very stressful. It's you got to be prepared, you know, like there's no like winging it. Even though it's like we're having fun, you got to deliver the lines. You got to act. You got to like have it memorized. You got to be able to have a conversation with somebody that somebody else wrote. My whole life is like we find it in the edit. I talk in these cooking videos the entire time. So like if I'm making something that's 2 hours, I will gab and talk and make fun of stuff and whatever for 2 hours straight. And then we find the jokes in the edit. But here it's just like action. No, you deliver the line. That person next to you is doing the lines. There's no like, oh yeah, like what are we gonna do? Like it's just like, it's so intense actually. Yeah, I mean, for me, because I'm like, I can't remember anything. I can remember so much. I'm so creative. I'm so, you know, I'm so, you know, my brain, it's like, you know, it's like 57 cats up there just running around. And then when I get excited, I don't see anything, and then I don't remember anything, and then I'm doing a scene with Jeremy, and he's throwing boxes out of a dumpster at me, and I'm like, what are we talking about here?
Okay, you're gonna take it to the table. Okay, you're gonna pour the broth into the bowls, give them each a bowl. Say, this is our mirepoix broth. Okay, you got it?
Yes, chef.
Good, go. Okay. Careful. Thank you, chef.
Thank you. Hi, welcome. This is a broth from Chef Carmen's Mind, mirepoix and broth. I pour it in front of you. Enjoy.
What are you doing?
I poured it in front of him.
The Emmy goes to the Bear!
Speaking of the Emmys, you gave an acceptance speech on behalf of the show,
Yeah,
which was astounding.
yeah.
I just love restaurants so much. The good, the bad, it's rough. We're all broken inside, and every single day we gotta show up and cook and make people feel good by eating something and sitting at a table, and it's really beautiful. And all of us here get to make a show together, and we get to make people feel good or filled with anxiety or triggered, seems. But this is really amazing. It's beautiful.
There was a line in there where you talked about how we're all broken inside.
Yeah.
What did you mean by that?
Well, we're all broken. I'm sure you had good news and bad news this week about people you love. How do you put yourself back together every day? How do you maintain this persona? How do you work? How do you show up for yourself? How do you show up for others around you? How do you stay strong? How do you, like, it's so intense. And like restaurants are it's like a play. Every day we open for service. Every day a group of individuals have to get everything ready and then cook to the best of their abilities, no matter what's going on. You know, like that's everybody. Everyone has, if you're working at a factory or a CFO or you're doing whatever you're doing, every single person here with the cameras and lights, everyone's coming from something. And it's just like, yo, we gotta, like, as a society, we gotta be there for each other. We gotta, like, good or bad, like, we gotta be there. We gotta be positive. We gotta, like, really try to, like, make everyone kind of come up together, you know?
You talk so much about how much you love restaurants. So
Yeah.
obviously your guy loves cooking, but you love restaurants as well. But it made me think about in my business, like I love journalism,
You're right.
but I also love broadcasting, and
Right.
they're intertwined, but they're different. You know.
Yeah.
And so what is it that and you touched on it a little bit, but what is it about restaurants that you want we customers
Yeah.
to understand?
That we're doing this for you. You know, I love restaurants. They're the best, you know, and I think it's like I grew up in a house where we were like an open door policy, and I have 3 siblings. We always had lots of friends over. Even though we didn't have a ton of money, there was always food for everybody. There was always, like, it was a very open, welcoming home. And so at a very young age, I think hospitality is in me. I want to help people. I want to take care of people. I want people to feel beloved, you know? And restaurants is a way that I can do that. And it's just like walking into one of our restaurants is like, I want people to just feel the love. I want people to be able to escape what's out there and like have a moment in time with us and allow us to put a little bit of joy into your life from what we love doing. We love serving people. We love cooking for people. We love taking care of people.
You're passionate about that, and let me finish this by asking you about some of the other things that you clearly love. And let's start with food. Like, to hear you talk about food and the craft of cooking is, like, it's inspiring to hear. And so for me, it feels like as I read the things you write, that food and meals are attached to people in your life and moments in your life. So tell me about that.
It's given me everything. Food has given me everything. You know, my love of, like, my fondest memories or you know, my grandmother's roasted pork with mashed potatoes and gravy, and like rapi pie, and going clam digging with my grandfather in PEI, and like doing lobster boils in his driveway, and eating at the Blue Goose in PEI. Like all of my memories, as cliche as they are around food. And going to cooking school gave my love, like I loved that. I was going to school and I liked going.
Because you didn't like going to school before, you
No.
were not a star high school student.
No, I had to like negotiate with my principal to pretty much graduate. Like I was just like, get me out of here. You don't want me here. I don't want to be here. Get me out of here.
And yet you came to college here in Toronto.
Yeah, I went to Humber, Rexdale for life.
And
you know,
discovered in learning about cooking that you were really good at it.
I loved it. It was just like a natural ability. I don't know if I was good at it, but I was like able to do it. It was relatively easy, you know, sharpening knives, making stock, listening to a chef, do what the chef says. Okay, you know, it was amazing. And yeah, I don't know. And then it was just working at Le Select, working at La Palette, working at these restaurants. I loved French food. I loved working in a space with people, so many different types of people, you know? It was so amazing. And I loved, I don't know. It's like my truest love is just restaurants. Like it is like, if everything went away and I just had restaurants, it'd be amazing. Like,
Yeah.
it is like, there's nothing, I don't think that there's anything better. But it is like, food has given me every opportunity, my life, my family. I'm able to provide for my family from food, making videos and doing all the things that I do. And all the doors that it's opened, you know, like, it's all because of cooking. It's all because of food. It's all because of like that stewardness of cooking and wanting to share, you know?
So a great love of your life is cooking, but it's not as big a love of your life as family.
Yeah.
Your wife and your 3 kids.
My wife and my 3 kids, you know, Trish is incredible. You know, we've been together over 24 years. I don't know, long time, long time. We've been together since like high school. We have 3 incredible children. Nothing's better. You know, it's, nothing's cooler than being a dad. Nothing's cooler than being a good husband. Like, I don't know, it's great. I'm so, like, I feel like lucky that we like love each other so much. And I also think it's partly because I'm like, maybe I'm not home that much, so then the heart grows fonder, you know?
Yeah.
And we both miss each other and we love each other, and like, we're not always there, just like ragging on each other, which is nice. Yeah, I don't know. It's the best.
I got a special guest. I got my handsome son, MacArthur. Say hello, MacArthur. Okay, perfect. So we're making, what are we gonna make today, Mac?
Pie.
We are not making pie today. We're making a vegetable curry, and we're gonna eat it with some rice, right, Mac?
You wrote something, and I want to read it because I want to get it right
Okay.
about your kids. You said, I hope you can always be yourselves
Yeah.
and never hide who you are.
Right.
I just thought that was an interesting thing to write, like, this is what I hope for my kids. Why that?
I think that's what my parents did for me without saying it. Like, you know, like, I don't think I had too many sit-down talks. I feel like kids that were brought up in the 80s didn't have a lot of sit-down talks with their parents. But it is, my parents were always supportive. I was like the black sheep in the family, you know? Like, I was like a punk kid who, you know, wanted to dye his hair and like wear nail polish and be like a punk kid, you know? And my parents, like, always, like, they loved it. You know, they always allowed me to try different things and like be myself. And like, I just think that that's really tight. And like, I think parents should allow their kids to, like, you know, if they're blossoming and turning into these amazing things, like, you know, feed that, you know, allow them to grow in different ways. And like, your idea of what makes a great person maybe isn't what that is, you know? I just wanted my kids to be able to, like, and I feel I'll do that anyways, but I want them to be able to be proud of who they are. And yeah, I don't know.
Even if one of them wants to be an accountant?
If they want to be an accountant, good. You know, we need accountants. You know, we need accountants.
Well, you are a one-of-a-kind guy, and and whether it's an empire or not, things are going really well for you, and it's great to see, and it's really nice to meet you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.